Hello everyone and welcome to the podcast. I've got some really bad news, and I'm sorry to start this off like so, but I got some terrible news. My microphone doesn't work anymore and I don't understand what has happened. Do you know what I think it could be? I think it's the only logical explanation for it. I've really been slacking in terms of producing my podcast episodes. I think this is the first one I've done in 3 weeks, and it's so bad because I love doing these, and I think that the podcast god is saying, nah, you're not microphone worthy. It's the only logical explanation, but I'm going to try and do my absolute best to clean up this audio so it is clean, crisp and beautiful. And if it isn't, well, you're just going to have to suck it up, because the only way in which I can actually be consistent with my podcast is doing it when I'm driving or doing it when I'm going for a walk. And it is currently pissing it down with rain right now. It is cold, wet and classic British weather. So that's, why I'm driving. And do you know what, actually? I've got 2 gyms close to me, 2 gyms. One is literally a 1-minute drive away. When I say a minute, I mean it takes me 45 seconds to get there. The other one is about 10 minutes away, and I've purposely driven to the gym 10 minutes away just so I can record a podcast episode for you guys. Yeah, I know. You must be thinking right now, I tell you what, Callum, wow, you are so nice. You are. Anyway, we're going to get past that. So what's been going on, and how can I be of service to you today? What's been going on, and how can I be of service to you today? Well, I think what I really want to kind of share with you is something that just really doesn't sit right with me and has really been kind of playing at me for a bit. And I think that how can this help you today? I think it's really the ultimate answer on how not to run your coaching business. The ultimate answer on how not to run your coaching business. I think that just one thing that's really clear is with every experience there is a lesson. Either almost kind of like a message is sent to you on what to do or what not to do in those situations. So you'll either get in every situation in life some form of positive feedback or negative feedback, but we can see the negative feedback or the negative experience as a reflection of, okay, if you're looking to achieve this specific outcome, don't do it like that. You're going to have to do something a bit different. So anyway, it's been playing on my mind for a while because I spoke at an event a couple of months ago. And yeah, it was for a fitness business mentor. And that's really kind of how I do the majority of my marketing. I build relationships with fitness business mentors, and really kind of just have the opportunity to deliver value to their audience, because it does 2 things. One, it gets me in front of the audience, which is a great payoff for me. But then secondly, for the mentor themselves, it's adding value. If you have a mentorship that doesn't just show you how to acquire customers and acquire clients, but also shows you how to deliver the highest quality service, that is beneficial to the mentor. So there's one lesson for you in terms of what to do in terms of growing your business. I guarantee if you're a personal trainer listening to this, you have come into contact with me via a business mentor somehow. Either I spoke at their event, either I've spoken on their podcast, either I've been on their email list, or they've shared me on Instagram, or whatever. Some way, it's how I get the majority of my customers. And it's how the majority of my ideal audience find out who I am. So there's a lesson for you there. If you're really struggling with leads, if you're really struggling to get new clients coming in, and you may be kind of like scratching your head and you're like, think about who already has the people that I'm looking to pick up. So who is it that I'm really trying to serve? So let's say, for example, you were trying to work with business owners. Let's say you're a personal trainer, online coach, and trying to work with business owners. The best thing that you could possibly do is find out who is already working with a business owner. A business owner, most of the time, has a business coach. So what you could do as a personal trainer is build a relationship with the business coach, because you're able to collaborate with that business coach, because the business coach knows that the number one thing that determines the success of a business really comes down to the quality of the entrepreneur, the level of energy the entrepreneur has. And as a personal trainer, health and fitness coach, you can enhance the quality of that entrepreneur, and off the back of that, you can help with the business owner. So you could build a relationship with, the business mentor, you could build a relationship with them, and then leverage their audience to get yourself exposed. But more importantly, and I think this is the key thing that I want to kind of talk to you about, you can build a long-term lasting, transformational relationship with that business mentor. And that business mentor, by having that relationship, can consistently expose you to either their clientele or to their own audience and their broader network as well. And this kind of brings me to, which effectively brings you an unlimited supply of leads, yeah? Which effectively kind of brings me to my bugbear and how not to do business. So I spoke at this event, it was a while back now, and it was really weird because the business mentor who asked me to speak at the event, they originally reached out to me through Instagram, then through WhatsApp. Now, they asked me, they said, hey, do you want to speak at my event? And I was like, yeah, absolutely, not a problem. So your next logical step would then be, let's jump on a call. Yeah, why don't we jump on a call? Let me find out about your event. Let me find out about what you're teaching, and then I can really kind of like, see one, if I'm going to be a good fit for you, and also whether this is going to be a good fit for me. But then with my content that I teach, I can really weave it in so it actually kind of like helps and benefits your event. So I know the main thing that you're teaching, I can link what I'm teaching to what you're teaching, which then improves the overall quality of the event. So that would make sense to you, yeah? So this person, didn't even, I said let's jump on a call, and for some reason just did absolutely everything to avoid jumping on a call with me. So anyway, I was like, look, am I still speaking? And he was like, yeah, eventually, like, sorry, he blanked me. Then about 2 weeks before the event, then was like, hey, you still good to speak? And I was like, fortunately I'd put it in my diary, and I was like, yeah. But I was then like, can we just jump on a call to find out? Still nothing. So then anyway, so I'm speaking at this event. I haven't had any human-to-human contact with this individual. So I turn up at the event. And the mentor then comes to me, shakes my hand. Hi, Callum, how you doing? Good to see you. And then just walks off. I was like, okay. Just walked off. I was like, okay. Right. And the reason he walked off was because at the time he was filming, he was pulling his clients and throughout the whole event and filming testimonials. Okay, which is fine. Which is again, I understand. I think that's very, very wise and very, very important. But his priority at that time was not to speak to me, it was to get his testimonials from his clients, and those testimonials from clients will result in more business. And that was a bit of a red flag for me, because it was almost like I'm more interested in what I can get versus the fact that you've come here completely free of charge to, help me out, and I'm not interested in you. Anyway, I then come back to 2 hours later, so he just left me on my own. I then was sat next to a sales coach, and this sales coach was also speaking. So I introduced myself to the sales coach. I was like, oh, hey, how you doing, blah, 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 what do you do? And then he's like, so I literally said those words, so what do you do? And then for 20 minutes straight. Now look, I understand that I'm delivering a podcast and I go on a monologue, but I'm doing this because I'm doing a podcast, okay? If we were having a conversation right now, I would not be going on a monologue. 20 minutes, he went on a monologue about how he's the best sales trainer in the world, about how much money he earns, and how he was like, I've got these clients who were earning 20k a month and now they're earning 200k a month, and just kept going on and on and on and on. for 20 minutes. And I couldn't help but think, I sat there, I was like, right, when it comes to sales, the number one thing that is literally the golden rule of sales is the Lord Almighty gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth, so shut up and listen. Like, the secret to sales is to shut up, ask questions, and just listen to your prospect to gather information. This bloke literally is a sales coach and just spoke about himself. Literally spoke about himself for 20 minutes. And I was just like, fucking hell, you do not practice what you preach. And also, I think this is a key thing. I found that what people will teach you, how people operate with you is most likely how they're going to teach you and what they're going to teach you to do. So again, it's almost like immediately this, and it was interesting because beforehand I spoke to my very good friend who is a business mentor, and I said, hey, do you know this business mentor I'm speaking? And he goes, yeah, you know, I've met him before. Very transactional. And that was interesting because that was kind of playing through my head, very transactional. And I felt this was just solely transactional. I was just a transaction to him. So then anyway, I'm sat next to this sales coach. And again, I was like, you know, if this is how you're kind of like selling. And remember, you're always selling. You're selling yourself. I was like, if this is how you're going to sell, this is how you would teach other people to sell almost. And I'm like, I'm not interested in that. So anyway, I move on. So then about 2 hours later, I'm left alone, you know, for 2 hours, I'm left alone with this sales coach. And then, then about 2 hours later, the mentor then comes back to me. The second point of contact, okay? The second time I've spoke to him in person, yeah? Ever had some real communication. He says, you ready to go on in 5 minutes? I was like, okay. So anyway, I went and I was like, well, obviously this is just like a smash and grab job. I went on stage, I nailed my presentation, had an amazing time, okay? Yeah, it was fantastic. So then anyway, it then gets to the end of the day. And I remember that, like, I used to do a lot of networking. So, you know, it's one of the reasons why, like, you know, I hear all of these business mentors go on about, you know, you've got to smash socials, have DMs and all of this. And I was like, I grew my business solely through networking and meeting people. I never used social media. So anyway, I used to go to networking events back in the day. And when I say I used to go to networking events, I go to 3 a day. I'd go to one would be at 6 o'clock in the morning in the middle of Birmingham. So I'd be up at 4 to get there for 5:30. I'd then have clients in between. I'd have one at 1 o'clock for 3 hours, and then I'd have another one at 7 p.m. And I would just rinse and repeat that for about 5 years. That was my life. And that's how I grew my business as well originally. So anyway, one of the biggest lessons I got from networking was be the first person in the room and the last to leave the room. Okay? Speak to every single individual there because you will always pick something up. So I learned from that situation, and I was the last person to leave. So anyway, it got right to the end. I'd spoken to so many people, built a relationship with all these people. It got right to the end of the event, and the business mentor was like, yeah, okay, we're going, you know, we're all leaving, thanks for coming. I was like, oh, you know, what are you planning tonight? It's like, oh, you know, just going to take some of the clients out for dinner. Yeah, thanks, mate, appreciate it, see you soon. That was it. And I was like, and this isn't me having an ego about me. I was like, I wouldn't treat my guest like that. I'd immediately go, do you want to come out for dinner with us? And the reason why I'm coming at this is not necessarily from a sense of that I'm offended, because I'm not, but more I'm like, that was really dumb. That was really dumb. And I'm going to tell you what as well after. So anyway, I then followed up with this business mentor for about a week. I was just like messaging saying like, you know, hey, thank you so much for the thing, blah, blah, blah. It'd be great to like, you know, catch up and see how we can collaborate further. I then said, you know, messaged him saying, you know, hey, like we should do some podcasts and all of that sort of stuff. Because that would make sense. Because I have the audience that he is looking to bring into his world. Yeah, and he has the audience that I'm looking to bring into my world. It is a no-brainer opportunity to just build a relationship with another person like this. And I was just like, this, I just don't get it. Like, you're supposed to be a business mentor, and business is solely about developing relationships. Whether it's developing relationships with people who can put you in front of your audience, whether it's developing relationships with your audience and then developing relationships with your clients. Like, that's the whole thing. People buy from people that they like and people that they trust. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And it was just solely transactional. And also, I just felt like, and it made me feel really sad because there was a lot of really kind of young, ambitious personal trainers and entrepreneurs in that room, yeah? Like, there was loads of them. And I couldn't help but see them in a similar light to how I used to be, like young, hungry, wanting to do the best, excited and passionate. And the thing that made me feel really sad was the only thing that seemed to be important was DMs, conversations, do the work, book the calls, sign the deal, and repeat. And it was just so transactional. And it just seemed that, one, the teaching that was, the things that were being taught to those young personal trainers was all about just transactions of sign the deal, get the cash in. Everything was just about cash. The sole metric of success was cash. The sole teaching was how to get as much cash. Whereas I can't help but feel that, like, the teaching should really be how to develop the best possible relationships, whether it's with your audience, whether it's with your clients. And if you do that, the cash will follow. You will earn so much more cash off the back of developing significantly ridiculous, high quality, high caliber relationships with people. Your clients won't leave you. People will begin to trust you. So you will get less let me think about it. It's because people have already thought about it and they want to work with you. You will have relationships with people who will put you in front of their audience because they trust you. It's like right now, I have a 6-week course that I'm promoting. And because I've built up a relationship with my good friend Michael Lennon, he's helping me promote me. He's helping promote me and putting me in front of all of his audience. Like, because he likes me and he trusts me, because I've spent so much time and energy building a relationship with this person. And I just think it was really sad because I had a conversation with a lot of them and a lot of the PTs in that room, and it was just all about, like, I'll be successful when I'm a 10K coach, I'm a 10K coach, I'm a 10K coach, I'm hitting this MRR, I'm hitting this PIF. I'm like, what the fuck is PIF? Like, these paying fools. And I was just like, I don't know, it just made me really sad. Now, how can this help you? Relationships. Don't be transactional. Don't be transactional. Because, and again, like, it's not just in terms of acquiring new business, but with your existing clients, don't just see them as a monthly direct debit. Because if you see them as a monthly direct debit, they will feel like a monthly direct debit. And off the back of that, you will eventually lose that monthly direct debit. Okay? Business is about people. You know those leads? Like the number of leads that you have, that is the number of people who are viewing your content. If they're viewing your content, what are they doing? They're building a relationship with you. They're getting an idea of what you are like as a person. You're developing a relationship with them. If you're looking to network, you're developing a relationship with them. If you're coaching, it's like, the thing I don't get is, like, again, online coaching is pushed. And I remember having a conversation with a coach, and he was like, yeah, I don't do any calls with my clients. I was, what do you mean you don't do any calls with my clients? I'm like, yeah, I thought this was one-to-one coaching. Like, if you're doing one-to-one coaching, surely you need to have a call with that person. How do you know that person? No, they just fill out a type form. I'm like, well, that's not one-to-one coaching. Like, even group coaching. It's like, yeah, group coaching. I'm like, okay, what's that? And it's like, yeah, everyone fills out type forms. I'm like, what? I just don't get it. Like, I just think that there is a reason that people do not trust personal trainers. And the reason people do not trust personal trainers is because the majority of personal trainers do not act in a way that is trustworthy. Because would I sign up to a one-to-one coaching program where I don't have any one-to-one access with you? No. No, I wouldn't. So anyway, just to summarize, hopefully what you've got out of this is how not to do business. Don't do business like that, because that bloke, like, I have an audience. He could, like, I would happily have him on this podcast. And you know what? You would then find out about him. So it's like, for example, Chris Bradley. Yep, Chris Bradley is a business mentor. I really like Chris. And we have a good, solid relationship. And do you know what? I had him on my podcast, and I guarantee you didn't know who Chris Bradley was until he was on this podcast. And by building a relationship with me, I've put him in front of my audience. And that's the secret of this game. That is the secret to this game. So do me a favor, Okay, spend this next week thinking, how could I deepen the relationships that I currently have with either my existing clients, with my audience, or people who could potentially have my audience? Never forget, if every one of your clients gave you just one new client, you've doubled your business.